All right, we start with our next match. Chronic finished out the sweep, despite what it says here, against Toxic, and is now playing Rw9 for a chance in the top 4. Chat, here we go. It's Rw9 versus Chronic, a matchup that I actually would have thought have happened. Chronic and Rw9 both playing in the next-gen tournaments that I've run, but now that I think about it, Chronic, right as he upgraded from next-gen and became RLCS eligible, that was when I first did the next-gen that went cross-region and added, more than just the North American players. So Chronic and Rw9 never matching up because the North America versus Middle East matchup can happen on EU servers in somewhat fair ping, but for whatever reason, these guys have not matched up, so it's great to see a couple of the youngsters who's actually been on the channel for a long time getting their first match against each other as part of the Feer Fiesta. So now it's time to see test or no. Not a test. Real deal. I mean, I felt like Chronic was playing real deal, right? I think Rw9 wasn't sure if it was a test or not. He's been so used to playing RLCS, he's expecting to just get test lobbies every time. Although I'll be honest, I do not often test lobby as long as both players have, primary server, or at least like if an EU player's playing an EU server, then I never really test it. 92 ping for Rw9. Luckily, he's the one who scored. So when he scores, when he thinks it's a test, and it works out, we don't have to wonder whether or not he wasn't trying his hardest. It's time to see how Rw9 has fared in ones. Rw9 has taken a recent focus on 3v3 for obvious reasons, as Rule 1 making waves in both the Spring Major and not as much waves as they would have liked in Worlds, but made it to Worlds as a main event invitee and got Twisted Minds to the main event as well, or not to the main event, but to Wildcard, and Twisted Minds did the rest and getting themselves to the main event. Great to see Mina on the rise. But has the focus on 3v3 faltered the 1v1 ability at all? That will be what we answer here today, as we're only a couple weeks to work on that one's ability before Gamers 8 is going to require some of the most high-level, stressful ones played in Rocket League. And if you really want to imagine it's Gamers 8, then you have to assume that this first game is a must-win one. Chronic slowly reversing off this ball. Actually successfully played keep away, but got himself demoed. Now Rw9 to the skies. He has such a well-rounded game. Chronic throwing in the nice one. You'd expect to think Chronic would be the one farming attacks through the air, but so far Rw9 looking buttery smooth with the wall-to-air dribbles. Who do you think will be Gen G's ones player? I imagine it'll still be Jack. I asked Chronic, I wasn't sure. Like I said before, any teams that have two really high-level ones, let's say, a matchup with Gen G happens, Jack plays the first ones, he really struggles against whatever opponent is, enough so that the other team then picks ones, which feels insane to me, picking ones against a team with Jack and Chronic, but maybe. And then Chronic might play the second ones. I'm guessing that Jack would be their primary, but, Chronic obviously showing he can compete today. If you're subscribed to the transitive property, which you really probably shouldn't subscribe too much in 1v1 because that's just not how it works. Toxic recently 3-0 swept Atto, and then Chronic beat Toxic, and Jack actually lost to Atto, so somewhere in the transitive property there would suggest that Chronic should be playing the 1v1s, but like I said, I don't think that's necessarily how it works. Rw9 grabbing his back corner boost and absolutely booming the ball all the way to the other side of the field. Uses the late flip to pop the ball over Chronic, and it really doesn't seem like Rw9 has lost a step. If you were worried about Rw9 not being able to hang in ones anymore, I believe it only took a couple minutes to make you forget about that. Chronic. Air dribble bump. Rw9 is one of the best in the world at defending them. He is probably the only person I know of that has what feels like, you know, over an 80% success rate. Like, more often than not, you air dribble bump him and it's him saving it. I feel like what other people are doing is they're struggling to just get the advantage slightly so that someone will stop trying. But Rw9 is almost just miles ahead from the very beginning. It's almost just a favorable play for him. Rw9 makes it 6-3 off the kickoff. Rw9 going to make it 7-3 off the kickoff. Rw9 made his biggest strides in the 1v1 world off of his defense for sure. Some of the best defense in 1v1. But he is showing that he is very well-rounded. It's not that he lacks offense. He has brought it all together now to become what is be agreed upon as the best ones player in the world. The question is whether or not he's still there, and it seems like he is. But of course, missing on this pre-jump, Chronic getting it over the top of him. Rw9 reset into Chronic, back to Rw9. Chronic wants to go next. He does not want to wait the minute left. So we will end game one with a Rw9 win. Rw9 toxic? Well, I don't control the Liquipedia. I do remember, though, that Chronic did win, and he did win in a sweep. That's why he is still here. Can he rebound after a tough game one? Rw9 seems to be on form today with his ball control. Trying to prove my point here with a dribble all the way from the back corner. And he does. Chronic gets a touch, but not enough. As he swings wide in preparation to try and make this save. I wonder if he could have played it a bit slow, a bit closer, but just didn't expect that level of perfection from Rw9. Rw9 going low with the shots. Nice of Chronic to discourage Rw9 from going high. Rw9 immediately back into a dribble. And another slot top left. Off of a Chronic touch as well, but never seen Rw9 play so quickly on offense. Seems to have faith that as long as he starts his dribble and attacks the net as soon as possible, that he'll be able to punish the recovery of Chronic. I think that has a little bit to do with the way that he scored these two goals, as he had, you know, Chronic retreating from the blue half to start it all off, and if Rw9 didn't play it as quickly as he did, then Chronic gets a chance to actually set up. We'll see if that's the case here. Rw9 actually doesn't even go in the air now, with Chronic already prepped at the midfield. Rw9 did not get much of anything from that dribble. In fact, he's just going to give the ball to Chronic. And he's on the board. Moxie show match. I have good news for you if you're a Moxie fan. Moxie will be playing today. The matches following this one include Yan versus Jorias, the winner of that match versus Moxie. And we actually have two more. Rise versus Fatira, winner versus Nas. So it's a long day of 1v1 content. So make sure to stick around. Rw9 bumped in his attempt to set up the double, and bumped again in order to earn Chronic the possession. He's going to play the ground dribble, looking for the low bump against Rw9. Doesn't get it. Trying to stay patient on the goal line. As these two bump each other to gain control of the ball. Eventually go to Rawas, who has prioritized the aerial attack today, and this is why he is almost 100%, it seems. We saw him take a ground dribble earlier when Chronic was prepared in net, but he really likes these air dribbles whenever Chronic's in the blue half, and is going to have to try and make a save while recovering, and clearly has not been able to. Chronic. Slow roll at Rawas. He's trying to test him defensively. Not often do people get away with that. But really, there's not much else you could do. Chronic probably wise to play it safe, because sometimes you throw even the best of shots on net and it doesn't matter. Rawas still saves it. How come some players only have to play one game to go through? Just because that's the way it works when you have 12 players in the tournament. Some players are going to need to get a bye. I gave it to 4 players I felt have been playing high-level 1v1 and felt deserving, which was Jack, Rawas, Moxie, and Nas. Chronic. Reset, has to use the flip to stop the Rawas save. But Rawas just refuses to let anything through. That would have been a creative double if you found it off the backboard, but instead it'll be Chronic tying the game. Bro's air dribble unbumpable. Yes. It's very true. Rawas can somehow phase through the bump with consistency. Chronic looking to double off the backboard in an attempt to keep the ball away from Rawas being able to save it. He's making a very intentional save off of the woodwork of his net in order to make sure that Rawas doesn't have a quick follow-up. He's done a great job so far, actually surviving this attack. It's not over yet, though, as he continues to use a pad or two in order to make the right touch. And now he's escaped into the blue half, and he has 100. Credit to Chronic. Not easy to stay alive against the attacking Rawas. He's going to look to reset his possession into the back corner. Rawas thinking about the wall challenge, but does back off. So now it's going to be Chronic attacking through the air with a recovering Rawas. Did not have the same success that Rawas has, and then the backflip challenge does not connect. So with 30 seconds left to go, Rawas with the lead. Rawas might make it a 2-goal lead to ice it out. I want to watch this kickoff here for a second. Chronic actually seemed like he was watching it for a moment as well. Rawas just getting there so fast, able to force his will, pushing that ball to the right. This time guides it to the left. Chronic is up, but it doesn't matter. Rawas can just play keep away. He secured the game really when he won the kickoff a couple kickoffs ago, but he's just adding more salt to the wound. What a save by Chronic. Not going to let him win by 7, or win by 4, that is. Get 7 goals. 2-0 for Rawas. Is he on his way for a clean sweep? This might be an effective way to beat Rawas. Be in the lobby alone without him. I'm assuming these guys are just going to be ready. Game number 3. Ryan S'mores, thank you for the 12-month prime. A full year of priming. Much appreciated. Rw9 picks up where he's left off the entire series with immediate goal. I want to watch Chronic. I need to watch Chronic's perspective on that kickoff. I don't know if he's trying to set up a wave dash kickoff. He's just getting dusted to the ball right now. Oh my goodness. When the movement is pristine, there's not much you can do. Except for starting to fake and try not to beat him to the ball. I mean, like I said, I got to watch more on Chronic's side. There's a slight delay, you can tell. Not rushing the ball, going to the wave dash kickoff. Rw9, what is he doing? How did he make his way back? He got a reset on the ball. He just used it to help his recovery. Now he's stopping Chronic's air dribble. He's out of boost. He should be able to reset the corner. Fake dive. Chronic doesn't fall for it. Into the air dribble. Rw9 pre-jumps it. And it just feels like there was never an opportunity. Almost nothing Chronic could have done, but he will try again. As he gets the reset, fakes the flick, and ends up just rolling the ball into Rw9. No early pre-jump from Rw9. Like a robot in net. Knows exactly what you're going to do. Chronic is more than capable of hitting that flick, and many a defender would panic and attempt to stop it. But Rw9, like he said, quote from himself, he is not like the rest of them. And as he does that, he gives Chronic a free goal. So maybe I cursed him a little bit. But to be fair, he cursed himself. That was his own quote. Chronic finally got Rw9 to move in net. Rw9 has been so patient, but he single jumps this flick and Chronic delays it. Waits until Rw9 is out of the way. Shout out to the homies who are here from the YouTube for the first time. I imagine with how long we're going to be live today, we're going to have a lot of people dropping in who maybe aren't normally able to catch it. Rw9 dashing his way back to net. Chronic, an interesting pogo as he lands wide of the net. Patience from Chronic. Rw9 tried to cut the ball. Rw9 has had some really interesting pre-flips in order to break up Chronic's potential counterattacks. He sees Chronic jumping early and he just plays a bit of keep away, and that'll earn him a third goal. Rw9 diving to take Chronic's boost. And now playing the long game as he waits for his possession. But Chronic does a good job. Should be credited. Got Rw9 to use his boost on a save and then stole his corner. So Chronic really doing well to convert on his possession. Wow! That's what it takes to beat Rw9. If you're wondering, you need to starve Rw9 completely of boost, and then you need to also place the ball perfectly crossbar down and in. And if you do that, then maybe you can score on him. Rw9 not going to have the easiest time setting up a quality chance from this deep in the corner. But he actually did force Chronic onto the crossbar for the save, which gave him maybe an opportunity. Chronic throws the ball to the opposite side wall, and Rw9 can't make anything of it. Rw9 getting chased down, delays his approach up the back wall, expecting Chronic to swing through for the demo. Now he's earned himself an attack of his own. Watching from Chronic's perspective, he is able to read the flick, and he's probably going to try and rush this dribble as quick as possible. In fact, he's going for the double in order to try and keep it away, but Rw9 recovers and stops him from taking the lead. A minute 30 Chronic needs a goal. Rw9 has earned himself quite a bit of cushion. Chronic back to the midfield. Slow rolling ball that at any moment he can power slide and turn into to chip it over Rw9. So Rw9 played it as safe as he could, and it worked out well because he's perfectly in position as Chronic starts his air dribble. With Chronic in possession again, 30 boost to work with. Tries to flip it over the top, actually slowed the ball down and bumped Rw9 in the progress, but it doesn't matter. Rw9 still there. Rw9 a testing shot, but not a good enough one. You have to put on something that forces a tougher save. And because Chronic was able to save that with just really a clean double jump, it sets him up for the long shots from his own corner. A game lead for Chronic as he wins the wave dash kickoff and rushes it a little bit, flipping over the top of the ball. Wasp pinches this to the ceiling. Doesn't have much boost to work with. Chronic trying to make it stay that way as he hovers over the 100 in the corner. Chronic reset, sees Rw9 waiting high above, and Rw9 forced him to the ground and actually doesn't get beat out. Somehow still is able to cover the ground play. But with clock winding down, Rw9 can't afford to wait to grab his possession. He has to try and go get it himself, and he's unable to. So Chronic will stay alive. It's a Game 3 win by a slim margin, but a win nonetheless in what has to be a reverse sweep if Chronic wants to advance. Game number 4. Chronic won game number 3. And why do I feel like every game has started this way? With Rw9 winning a kickoff. He's been pushing his kickoffs right, and he's been doing so successfully. Is this a replay? It is not. This is live. We're not watching replays either. These guys playing in this match right here, right now, as Chronic looks to do what I imagine not a lot of people are willing to bet on him doing, especially with the way this has started. In fact, I'm going to go look at the prediction in chat. 80% for Rw9, but the 20% of Chronic believers trying to come away rich with channel points today. Rw9 not able to find anything in the corner. Chronic's going to be attacking and awaiting Rw9, and an awaiting Rw9 is one that it's very likely to get the save. In fact, such a good save that it's a goal of his own. Rw9 from his back corner. Chronic cannot keep it out. Try to go underneath the dribble. Rw9's success rate on air dribbles where Chronic starts in the blue half with him is just about 100%. Chronic air dribbles into the 50, and now is going to be able to flick away. He bumped Rw9. Yo, Soy Fiesta Limper, thank you for the 55 months of Prime. Limper Schmidt actually came up with the name of this tournament, guys, so if you like it, then thank Limper Schmidt. Also, Yo Soy Fiesta is a quote from a player from our college, I'm pretty sure. A football player. Oh, wait, you guys would know. It's Gronk. He's a pretty popular football player. And that's American football, not European. Rwas not able to score this air dribble 50. What a save, says Rwas. Yeah, Chronic certainly should be credited. Rwas thought for sure he was going to get a goal. Took time out of his regain of possession. And there's Chronic. Finally has his opportunity to say thanks. And he actually pre-jumps this. Rwas tried to punish the pre-jump by launching it over the top to the ceiling, but Chronic adjusts back. Now both of them are playing on low boost. The 100 will spawn for Chronic, and it will be his demise, as so often happens in ones. As soon as you feel like you have a moment to grab the 100 to get the advantage, that's the moment that you get beats. Chronic. Air dribble down to the ground. Nothing to get out of it. Now Rwas to the back wall. Can he get the tight double? He cannot. Chronic, I felt like... Okay, good. I felt like Chronic had a chance to counter this fairly easily. And his first touch did not give me a ton of faith, but he didn't want to immediately flip. Two minutes left to go. Rwas in the lead. Trying to close out his series against Chronic after being unable to do so in a sweep. Chronic sticking around. Bounce dribble, flick into the crossbar. Can he get back to this one? He cannot. Rwas 50s it in. A minute 26 from Rwas advancing, joining Atto, our other player also in the top four. I'm talking about Atto, it's Chronic. Atto's the one who advanced. Chronic wants to meet Atto. He's going to have to do it inch by inch against Rwas here. Rwas maybe expecting an early dive from Chronic, considering the game context. Looks to try and chip it over, but Chronic turns back, has himself a solid possession. Wants the air dribble, takes it slow. Almost trying to save boost. Rwas wants a pinch. Chronic's not going to allow him to do so. Now will we see a full field dribble from the back corner? We will. Chronic. Rwas in the air. He wants to use the reset immediately to try and get over the top of him. Rwas makes his way to the back wall and falls down for the save. So it seemed like a position that Chronic was going to be able to convert on. But the defensive magician does it again. Chronic still with a great chance. Going for the double jump bump. It did not get set up the way he wanted it to. Rwas bonks off the post. So it is going to be Chronic with one last chance. Flick to the opposite side of the net. It's off the post and out instead of in. And GG's as Rwas advances to join Atto as the first 2 of 4 to make the final day.